Hi, it's Lipstick Al. Thanks for watching today. So I wanted to revisit my eyeshadow chopping block. I will link the video down below that I initially did. I think there might be a few more palettes in here that I've decided I can truly live without. So excited. But basically, I have more eyeshadow than one human person can ever use, especially before it goes bad, because that does happen to makeup. And so I kind of brought together a whole collection of things that, you know, if you're into the Marie Kondo thing, did not spark joy. And before I even knew about Marie Kondo, it was kind of like, oh, I have to try and use this. And the truth is, some of these made it into my collection because, well, they're aspirational. I wanted to learn to, you know, do an all matte look. I wanted to learn to use more color. I wanted to learn to be better with glitters and foiled shadows and what have you. And there are some that work really well and they're not on the table in front of me. And there are some that I was always either intimidated by, never inspired by, or always maybe kind of go, I don't know that I can. And those are the ones that are here before me. So before I get into it and show you which ones are staying, very few, and which ones are going, quite a lot. Let me say thank you for watching. If you are not already subscribed, would you please subscribe and let me know in the comments down below what sort of videos do you enjoy watching the most? Do you ever fall down that YouTube makeup video rabbit hole? I do that all the time. It's like, it goes like to just autoplay and it just like the next thing pops up. And if it's not exciting, I hit next and just kind of, you know, whatever. Sometimes I just let the randomness happen. That's how I find cool creators that I didn't know about. And then sometimes it's I go to a specific creator and look for reviews on specific products, or here's the problem I'm having, how do I solve pore issues, or how do I keep my nose from getting to be too red, how do I keep my foundation from breaking up. If you're looking for more videos like that, would you let me know what sort of things you're looking for when you're searching for beauty videos on YouTube? Let me know in the comments down below. So I'm going to link a couple of videos for you. One of them is my initial palette chopping block. That's going to be linked down below. And oh, there was another one. What was it? When I think about it, I'll let you know. All right, so let's just start. I'm going to start with some of the easiest ones that I knew, like even before when I was recording the initial chopping block video, not going to stay. These guys here. These are from Estee Lauder. These came as part of the Estee Lauder, oh, I forget what it's called. It's like their train case. They did one for 2018. They had a lot of great things in there. And for me, purchasing it was worth it because the price of the entire set. It had lipsticks I knew I was going to use, lip glosses I knew I was going to use, and then skincare that I was like, oh, hello, yes, love that stuff. And then I found a couple of other things. Out of all of them, this one here, this one's called the Nudes. That one was probably the one that performed the best. This is the one that performed the worst. This one's called Glam. All three of these, I don't think that this is anywhere near the quality of what I have seen from Estee Lauder before. As I click all these compacts closed. The packaging was cute, is red on the back, gold on the front, but the truth is I don't keep things for packaging. Sometimes I buy things for packaging, but this was part of a set. And the Nudes was the best, the ones that are more those brown tones, but I have so many other shadows that are so good, I don't need to keep these. So these guys are definitely going. All right, I have a little stack here of little square palettes. Let's talk about these guys. So the one on top, this is from the Balm, and this is when they first came out with their shadow singles. It's several years old, and I'm wondering if maybe they're not what I remember them to be because, you know, they're past their prime. But the palette's super cute. I love that they're very vintage and retro type packaging. It's cardboard packaging. It has a nice mirror here, and then it has a space for 9 individual shadows. Now, the nice thing about these is that you can pull these out. So I will keep the palette, but I will get rid of what's in here. And the one thing that I didn't like was that the way that they had these packaged, they had a little number sticker on the back, but there was a piece of tape that was holding it into a little plastic kind of protector. And when you took the piece of tape off the back, it also took the number off the back. So I had to go in and handwrite all of them, and I was like, stupid, I'm not doing that. And the fact that ColourPop has single shadows for $4, Makeup Geek has them for $6, why would I want to pay more than that? So I'll keep the cardboard packaging, but all 9 of these, they're going out the door, in the trash. I wouldn't give them to anyone because they don't perform well at all. All right, this one kind of made me go, I can't find a place to, okay, you go over here, starting my stack over here. This one surprised me. I still have not officially made a decision. I know this is terrible. All right, so this is what it is. It's the Makeup Geek and Manny MUA palette. So here's what it looks like. This palette is from a while ago, and I love the shades in here, and I use every shade regularly except for these bottom two. And this one here is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they're all beautiful, but I realized that I wasn't using it because there were too many things that were kind of in the way. I couldn't really see it. And I wasn't sure whether I didn't use it because I love Makeup Geek shadows. I think this one's staying. Okay, I just made up my mind just right now. All right, you stay. All right, this one I have done a couple of reviews on. It's the Alternative Rock Volume 1 from The Balm. Here's what's weird, is that some of the Balm shadows are really good, and some of the Balm shadows and other products are real bad. All right, so this one here is all cool toned, and I got this one this summer when they were having a sale. It was fairly new. It came out in 2018, and the truth is, these foiled eyeshadows like these guys and these guys, not really foiled, they're more like metallic. They're just not good at all. The face products are okay. I don't really like this blush, and this highlight has too much of like a white, slightly pinky turn to it, and I don't see myself reaching for it. So this one, I think someone else can love it for me because I'm okay with letting this go. But this is not the eyeshadow quality that I'm used to from The Balm, hence my extreme disappointment. So this one here is the Glam Metals. It's from Crown, and this is one that came in a BoxyCharm. I think it came about a year ago. So it could have been December 2018 or 2017 or January 2018. So it's I've had it for about a year, and the truth is I don't ever reach for it. Here's why. When I used this again recently, although the looks that I got, it was really pretty because some of these shades, I mean, look how foiled they are. They're just super gorgeous. The problem is they don't last. So these are the ones that end up, like by the end of the day, it's like, I was wearing eyeshadow, wasn't I? Where is it? Where'd you go? Not all of them, but the ones that I really like to reach for. It is a fun idea. I like that it has like a little flying guitar mirror, and then it has these beautiful, I like the size of it. It just didn't work for me, hence my letting it go. Another one that I got in BoxyCharm, this one is from Pure. It's the Midnight Masquerades. I used this once. I was so disappointed by the look that I got, and so it wasn't so much the disappointment in the look, but I think it was just uninspired. Maybe I'm not creative enough to use this, and I think I'd rather say that than the product doesn't work for me, but I'd rather somebody else really get to love it and use it because I know I'm not going to reach for it. So they do have 4 pans of face products in here, and on the other side you have 6 eyeshadows and this little itty bitty strip of a mirror that you can barely see your eyeballs in. It's kind of hard to do your makeup using this mirror. I've tried it. It didn't work for me. I ended up with like a hand mirror because I like to see more than just this. I want to actually see what this looks like in conjunction with the rest of my face. So the colors were just ones that I wasn't sure how to get a good look at it. So I'm gonna let someone else love this one for me. All right, these ones kind of make me sad. Okay. I used this once, I didn't love it. It's from Smashbox, and this is their, don't hate me for this is the Ablaze palette. So these are those cover shot eyeshadow palettes. They have how many? 8 shades in them, so 2 larger pans and then 6 smaller ones across the bottom. It's very much a warm toned eyeshadow, and this is in limited edition packaging. This is December 2017 holiday packaging. I got a set of 2 eyeshadows and some highlighters, and before I even used the other palette, I gave it to a friend who I knew would love it, and then to her daughter, the highlights that came with it. So this is the only one that was left, and I had it in my collection for a full year before I actually used it. I'm a bad person. I'm a compulsive buyer, and that is just, and I never, when they first came out in this sort of packaging, I never ever would have purchased the Ablaze because these colors, although they're beautiful, and I like the way these warm, earthy tones look on other people. It's just not a look that I go with on a regular basis for myself. Now, this is the one when they first came out, when these Cover Shop palettes came out that I first got. This one here is called Golden Hour. So it has more neutrals and then that purple plum in there. But here's the thing. In playing with these and trying to apply it, I don't know whether in the last year and a half, because I got this in the summer of 2017, I don't remember it being so difficult to apply with a brush. I felt like it was very much like a light wash of color, and sometimes that's good because sometimes I look like I'm finger painting and it's like, someone take away her toys, she's making a mess. But I felt almost like I couldn't get enough eyeshadow pigment on, and then when I was blending, sometimes it blended away, and I don't remember it performing that way. So I think this one is kind of like past its prime. So this one was one, sadly I had this in my project pan for this year, but the truth was I tried it twice, and I've had it in my project pan for a solid 2 months, and I've used it twice and I've never been happy with the eye look, which means I'm just not going to reach for it. So bye-bye. All right, from there, this one was hard. I don't think I had this initially in my chopping block video. I didn't, because I was sure I was going to get, and I went through my drawers again. I went through all of my eyeshadow palettes to make sure, is there anything else in here that I don't love? And please don't hate me for this, but it's the Morphe Jaclyn Hill. And it's specifically, I was really on a kick this summer to try cooler toned eyeshadows. So I got the one called Bling Boss. And the problem I'm having, I don't know if you can see it, you can see a little bit of it here. This one especially, I end up getting hard pan. And I just kind of went over it with a piece of tape to kind of see if I could lift it up. And it works fine. And it looks beautiful now, but I can't pick it up with a brush. I have the same problem. That's the one that's called Bling Bling. Glitz and Glam, also hard pans for me, as does Ballsy. So these lighter shimmery shades, the ones that I love and I would love to wear on my eyelid, I can't really get to work with a brush. And then when I try and pick it up with my finger, unless my finger is wet, and then you ruin the whole shadow. So, I wanted to say I was going to use this purple. I wanted to say I was going to use these really deeper tones. The truth is, I just don't. I use very, very small amounts of shades like that. Very, very small amounts. Now, I recently put up a ColourPop video, which I will link below. It's my Pleasure palette. The one that's purple has 9 pans. I get an easier look and a better look, and I've reached for that more than this. This I think I've used twice, and I bought it when it came out, like right when it launched this last summer. And it's one of those Marie Kondo doesn't spark joy. I wanted it to spark joy. It sparked joy when I was at Ulta and I purchased it. But since then, I haven't really used it. And the shadows that I really wanted to love out of it were so hard for me to use. I couldn't really get them to perform. So I'm gonna let someone else try it. It's not working for me. All right, another one from the Balm. They don't make this palette anymore, and part of me was like, they don't make it, don't get rid of it. Super cute. It's called their Balm Voyage, and so it's one of those things where they have their really awesome, you know, retro packaging in there. The inside of it has a little mirror, and if you're looking into it, it looks like it's your face surrounded by this super cute little hairdo and her nails, and it looks like the inside of a passport. And then you have this. And they're all like seat numbers. And they're really fun, but I love how large the pans are in this. And there are a couple of shades in here that I absolutely love. And then some of them are really dusty. And I don't remember it being this dusty when I first got it. There is this part down here that flips down, and all of these are cream lip and cheek products, and they're completely bad because they smell like a crayon. If your lipsticks or your cream products ever smell like a crayon, the oils in them have gone bad. Time to get rid of them. FYI. But I just realized that although there are some fun colors in here, they're very powdery and they blend. Some of them blend away. Some of them are still really nice, but it's not worth it for me to like depot the ones that I love. I'm just going to say goodbye to this whole thing. All right. here's another one. This is the original Nude Tude from the Balm. I remember this coming out shortly after Urban Decay's original Naked palette. Everybody wanted to have like an answer to the neutrally naked idea, hence the little naked ladies. And I think it's super cute. The packaging, always for the win for me. But the truth is, I don't use this. I don't use it at all. And I tried it again and I got a really nice look, but I didn't like the look in this better than the original Naked palette, which I still have in my drawer that I knew if I have fewer things, I'm gonna reach for that one more. This was not one of the ones that I knew I was gonna reach for, so I can let that one go. All right, another one that I'm definitely letting go is from Too Faced. I remember trying this in a video where I kind of shopped my stash, and I think still smells like chocolate, still smells really good. And I know some people thought that these heart-shaped pans and the pink packaging really was a little juvenile. I think it's very Valentine-y, very kind of kitschy, and I liked that about it. I also have always liked this, and I know they're moving away from that, but the metal packaging. I always thought it was super cute, like a little tin. I loved it. The problem I have is these are no longer the same that I remember them being. I remember the shimmers being really buttery, being the sort that just really showed up. The mattes are still really good in here, but I don't use as many mattes as I use shimmers. I am that person. And the colors that I loved in here do not perform the way that I remember. So this one, and it does say somewhere, usually on the box, actually it says it right here. If you look at it, this little circular jar with the lid up, it says 12 months. This has definitely been open and used for more than 12 months. So it's past its makeup prime. I'm not saying that all powder products expire like this, but this definitely is performing like an expired eyeshadow palette. And it doesn't have the same original goodness that it did. Because I think that if it performed that way still, I wouldn't be getting rid of it. All right, one that I'm planning on keeping, I don't remember if this was my original chopping block video. And this one kind of surprised me. It's another Too Faced palette. This is the Clover palette. I bought this for the packaging, not gonna lie. Super cute. I love this sort of stuff. I don't know why. It's the child in me. Loved it. And I bought it also because I wanted to be able to, use more bright colors. And there are a lot of really bright colors in here. The yellow, the mint green, these blue shades, there's a purple. But you can also get some really beautiful neutral looks with a small pop. And I forgot how good this was. And the formula is still really good on all of these. So this one I'm gonna hang on to because I think it's really going to work for me. One that I bought, I did a review, and if you're interested, I will link it below, of Shop Hush Bad Habit palettes. I'd never purchased anything from Shop Hush before. I haven't. I don't know that I would purchase any more of these sorts of dupe palettes. I have a problem with purchasing dupes. I'd rather purchase the original. But when things are priced out of my price range, like some of the Natasha Denona palettes, I wanted to see what it might be like. And the truth is, it's not even the same. It's not even the same. Some people say it is, some people say it's not. You can get very similar looks, but the truth is, this one here, this is the Athena palette. This was supposed to be a dupe of the Desert Dusk palette from Huda Beauty. And although there are some really beautiful shades in here and they work really well, this leans way too warm for me. And I definitely don't ever find myself reaching for this. And when I reach for it, it's kind of like, oh, what am I gonna do? As opposed to, oh, I love that palette. And that's the response I wanna have every single time I pull out an eyeshadow palette. So someone else is gonna love this. It's definitely not my makeup aesthetic. Here's one that, oh, this one's hard, because part of me, my initial response is like, get rid of it. Let it go. It's this one. It's another Bad Habit. It's the Divine palette. It's supposed to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Star palette. And I wanted that Star palette so bad, but I couldn't spend $125, $129. I just couldn't let myself spend that much. I wanted to, I couldn't. But the colors really called to me. And this is what the Divine palette looks like. I really had a hard time. And in the Shop Hush video, which I will link down below, I really felt like this palette got the better of me. And then I realized I should have done what my natural inclination was. I wanted to use a brush. I wanted to be professional. I wanted to do what all the other makeup artists were doing and beauty YouTubers and gurus and influencers. And the truth is, what I love about this palette are all of these foiled shadows. I mean, they are just absolutely out of this world. And you know how these work best for me? These work best, first of all, if I do my eyes first, and then if I just use my fingers. I've been using my fingers to put on eyeshadow since the 80s, when my little sponge tip applicators would wear out and they didn't sell any that I could ever find at the drugstore. So, you know, once the applicator that came with it was done and the little plastic part broke through the sponge applicator and it all was shreds and ribbons and all over the place, I just started using my fingers. And the truth is, it's so much easier that way. And I forget that these are also tools. So what I love about this are those really gorgeous, shimmery, glittery, and you do need a very good eyeshadow primer with this. But if you do that, even a glitter primer for some of the glittery shades in here, I think I might hang on to this, because if I use my fingers and a good primer and do my eyes first, it's almost like it's too much work. I'm gonna keep it for now. I'm gonna keep it for now. All right. I bought this many moons ago. I remember being so excited for Nikki Tutorials collab with Too Faced, and it really made me want to use makeup. Super fun. I love it. I love everything about this palette, but it doesn't perform like it used to. I don't know that it ever really performed well. I remember there was kind of a, you know, different batches, and some of them were better quality. And I don't know whether it's the quality or whether how hardly or loosely they were pressed. This does not perform the way I remember it, so I'm not hanging on to it. Although it does have a chocolate Soleil bronzer down here. It still smells real good and very chocolatey. I'm sad to let it go because I love Nikki Tutorials to death, but that one's not staying in my collection. All right, this one I was sure, like when I put it on the chopping block, it's not staying, it's not staying, it's not staying. It's a totally cute palette from Too Faced. Here's what's interesting about this palette. I'm just gonna turn it upside down. There is a mirror behind this, but I kept these little instructions in here, which means I never actually used it. And this was one of those palettes that I bought because I wanted to use more color. And you know what I found out? I had totally been missing, and I love a good bone eyeshadow. These two here are like, oh, that's a lot. Super, super glittery. And then you have one that's just a beautiful matte cream color. And this matte cream color is a sort of thing that I usually use like up towards my brow or to blend out an edge if I've gone a little too cuckoo. But these shades right here, especially this one called Unicorn, oh, it's so beautiful. And it smells sweet. And I don't know how I missed. All I thought of was, oh yeah, neutrally ivory shades. I bought it for the color, but the truth is, these shades are miraculous and they work really, really well. And they are like right in the middle of the sorts of things I do every day. So if I stop thinking about this as a color, but more of a base for eyeshadow looks to blend things out, I can definitely get some use out of this. The other thing is, Bunny Foo-Foo, this kind of orangey one, and this one here called Chocolate Donut. Those are both extremely beautiful mattes. So I can use 5 out of the 9 shades in here, and I wasn't even really thinking about it. So it's time to put these guys into use. I think I'm gonna keep it and revisit this one again later. All right. Oh, this was not hard. My Tarte Rainforest of the Sea. There's a lot of BoxyCharm palettes in here, aren't there? I don't know, BoxyCharm. So this is the volume 2. This is one, the colors in here are really pretty. It does lean on the cooler side, but I think in looking at it, there's one matte shade, and it's this one here. And you can see I've gotten a lot of use out of that one. I don't really like the texture of these. I don't think that out of all the eyeshadows I can pull from my collection, this is the one that makes me the happiest. Yeah, goodbye. Another one that I didn't initially have in my chopping block video just came last month. I know. Isn't that terrible? This came in January 2019 from BoxyCharm. All right, this is Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3. Now, I thought that this would be like right up my alley because it has a lot of shimmery shades, but there's not a ton of difference in them. And there's, again, one matte shadow in here. And with the exception of these two shades right here, which are the darkest, the rest of them kind of, can you really tell at a distance? Like, they all look very much the same. They're very gold leaning, which is fine. This is not my favorite shadow formula. It's brand new. I used it twice. I used it once in my BoxyCharm video, and then I used it a second time, and I was like, eh. And when I have that sort of response, I don't want to keep it around because it makes me go, eh. Sorry, Tarte. Sorry. All right. I decided that this was not staying around. I did a video using it, and I didn't think I liked the look until I walked out of the room where I film, and I looked in my mirror in the bathroom, and then I looked in the what I call the mirror of truth. It's like the mirror in the visor in your car. I was like, wow, this looks pretty good. So it's the Naked 3. And I'll tell you, the packaging on this, although it's that metal tin sort of packaging, which I like from Too Faced. Can you hear that? I have little plastic parts in here that rattle. I loaned it to a friend. She wanted to try it when it was brand new, when it had just launched, and everybody was into the rose gold theme. And she rode her bike to work and let it bang around, and then she dropped her purse on the floor, and the little parts that connect here and snap into these little spots here broke off, so it doesn't seal, hence the hair tie that I used to keep it closed. That aside, I really like the look that I got. I had so many people asking me that day, what are you wearing? Oh, that looks really pretty. And it was a nice neutral, but kind of cooler rosy. I was really surprised. I was like, you have a cool tone palette that you're not using that gave you a really beautiful look, and you were sure you were going to get rid of it? This astounded me. That's staying. This one here, another Urban Decay. This is the Ultimate Basics. And my concern here was that so many of these shades here, like these guys, like there's not much difference. These two are very similar. But the truth is, if I stop seeing this as a standalone palette, now you may be talking to me while I'm talking to you at the screen going, what do you mean it's not a standalone palette? I like to think that out of a palette I can get a complete look. And you certainly can get a complete look out of this. But since my heart beats for glitter and shimmer and foil, hence the sparkly shadow I have, and the only thing I have on my lid today, I got this because everybody was raving about it when it came out. I know Urban Decay shadows are beautiful. I know they blend really well. And I thought, you know what? Sometimes you are going to want to do a more subdued look. And one of my favorite palettes is a different Urban Decay, and it's all matte, and it's limited edition. Where are you? It's back here, I promise. Is this one from Kristen Leanne. I love how they always have a brush in there that always falls out on me. But these colors here I use, and they're mid-toned enough like these guys, and other ones warm enough, and everything that I need, and they're all matte, and there's only 5. And I remembered how much I love that, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if you started using more of these rosy tones? Or if you wanted to go a little bit warmer, or you wanted to smoke things out. I hadn't really thought it through. So when I did a couple of those looks with this palette, I was like, oh yes, oh yes. And then that's when I throw on like a Stila, the liquid glitter eyeshadows. What are those called? I can't remember right now. My brain is like, so this is staying, and it surprised me because I was sure both my Urban Decay palettes were going to be out the door. All right, a few more and we're done. I have 3 left, and they all kind of go together. These are my Mega Pros from Lorac. So the first one that I got was this one. I never got the Mega Pro Original, the one in the burgundy packaging, which was the one. I didn't get it, but I do love the Pro formula. I think it's really beautiful. And I love that you get 2 rows of mattes and 2 rows of shimmers. And when I used this palette again recently, oh, my heart was so happy. Easy. Now these are very dusty. Your brush, when you tap into it, you do pick up more than, so I like to tap in and then kind of like tap my brush off to get whatever excess off. And then it's just like perfection. These are really beautiful. I do feel like if you look just here, is there a difference between like these 5 shades? A very small difference. But since I am super, super, super fair, I can use all of those in the way that somebody would pull out, you know, just like a single skin tone shade to blend or to highlight underneath the arch of the brow. Those all work really well for me. And the rest of these, it's neutral enough with enough pops of color to really make it work. All right, so that's the 2. The 3, this is the one I was like, I don't know, because it's very, we do have some, you know, slightly pinkier tones and like, you know, some warmer tones, pinky, 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 purpley, mauvey, and then the rest of it's very neutral. I wasn't sure that this was going to be one of those, and if I'm looking at it, there are still probably half the shades I've never touched. But I have favorites in here, and I think the favorites is why I'm like, yes, get rid of the stuff that you know is cluttering things up, that it's getting in the way from seeing things like this that you know you will use. Sometimes also the size, I do much better with the original Lorac Pro, like the one that's black and like half the size, because I feel like it's just the right size. You know, you get 7 mattes, 7 shimmers, and woohoo! And here you get twice as much, but I do really like the formula of these. And then there's the Mega 4. This one here, I feel like out of all of them, this one has been used, I don't know, maybe 2 and 4 have been used the most. The one in the white packaging, the Mega 3, I haven't used nearly as much as these guys here. But there are a couple of shades, like this one here called Copper Pearl. Like, do you see how messy this is around here? I love that shade. And a lot of the mattes right across the top, they get a lot of use. And I think that if I decided to, like, and I need to start doing this, kind of go shopping, since I'm in a no-buy right now, in through my stash of things and use things that I haven't used in a while. This whole putting these all on a chopping block and making sure I had to use them all before I could decide, that really helped the decision. Knowing, oh, I love this formula. You know what? This really works for me. I was sure I was going to get rid of it. I was like, no, you're staying around. And then if I'm willing to really futz with things, I would use something like this. So I just did some counting. There were 27 palettes total. I'm getting rid of 18 of them. I'm only keeping 9. I was sure I was going to get rid of almost all of them. There might be a few in here that in another 6 to 8 months, if I don't really see myself reaching for or using, I could definitely see let go. But this is what I'm keeping. Here's what I've promised myself. Now that I've decided this whole stack is not for me, this smaller stack is for me, I think I could probably weed out my eyeshadow palette collection a little bit more. I've told myself I can't just keep willy-nilly buying things just because the packaging is pretty or everybody else loves it. I have to buy things that literally inspire me, that I can't stop thinking about, or I have to go in and look at it and say, okay, is the formula good? Are these colors I don't already have? And you know what the truth is? That's going to be a lot of no, because I have so much in shadow singles, in shadow palettes, like all across the board. I have way too much stuff, but it is nice to know that almost 20 palettes are going out the door. That feels really good. I ate 18 of them. But I wanted to finally get to the point where I stopped thinking of all the makeup I have as a collection. Because the minute I get into collect, some people can collect and use. And sometimes I collect and keep, but don't want to touch it, don't want to, you know, get rid of its pristine, perfect nature. But the truth is makeup is to be used. And there comes a lot of joy. And I'm just learning this since I started my project Pan. in using something that you love on the regular. So if I love it, I want to use it. If it makes me happy and I can't keep my fingers out of it, I want to do it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I want to really see what I have. I want to use it, and I don't want to have so much other clutter. So I'm like, it was hard to say I've had this for a month, but I didn't like it. I'm not going to use it again. And to realize this one doesn't do it for me. This one doesn't make me happy. This one, and it's nothing wrong. This may be your favorite eyeshadow palette, and that's fine. It doesn't work for me. And it's not like if I'm looking through all the candy in the candy store, this is not the candy I'm picking. I'm going to take something else home with me and enjoy it. And make it feel like, oh, it's delicious and I can't stop and don't make me put it down. That's the feeling I want with every single thing that I have in my collection. There's still a lot of weeding to do. So thank you for watching today. Let me know where you are. Are you still in the collecting? Or if you can't afford to spend the amount of money but your heart would let you if your dollars could? Are you in the, I need all of it and I'm just gonna hoard it all? Or are you more in the, nope, I have 2 eyeshadow palettes, or I have 1 and it's all I ever use and it's not my thing. Let me know if there is one type of makeup product though that you have too much of, because obviously this is one of mine. Thank you for watching today. I hope you have a great, great day, and I'll see you again soon.